Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Frederick and Gene Watts, and this is Love in 60 Seconds. Hope you guys are doing well today. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Had a super busy day today, so
Yes,
won't
both of
be
us.
long, and
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. I guess our mic was on a little early, so I'm glad
Yeah.
we weren't just uh, acting up, telling.
Because I was about to tell him about himself.
But
Pieces.
hey,
Because I had carried those groceries in this house by myself. So I was
mm,
like feeling a little like, what is happening?
that's right. Hey, so that's real. But we appreciate you guys tuning in, liking, and sharing. And please share this with somebody that think would help, or this will help. We're here as just chatting about love and relationships tonight.
Yeah.
And we've been married for over 20 years, and been marriage counselors for a few years and coaches. So hopefully we can talk about something that encourages you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I look so crazy. But anyways, it's all good. Been a long day, like he said, for both of us. Long day of work for me, long day of work long day of play for him.
Don't
I'm sorry, I'm not hating. I
she
am so
does
not
hate.
hating. I am not hating right now. But I'm trying not to hate. But anyways. It's all good. It is all good. I still got groceries on the counter though, family. I got
Right.
groceries on the counter. Now who's gonna put those guys away when we're done? We don't
But
know.
this is our life. But we are here for you. We
Yes.
appreciate you guys
Yep.
tuning in. So
Oh,
tonight we're going to talk about words of affirmation.
yep.
And hopefully, that's part of the love language series or love language test that a person named Gary Chapman, I believe was his name, talked about. And it really helps in relationships, knowing how your spouse, your partner, people that you're involved in any type of relationship actually, you know, relates to you. But especially in marriage, how these words of affirmation, acts of service. There's five love languages. What are they? Words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, and what's I'm missing one? Receiving gifts.
Yes.
That's them. And so, um, when you are sometimes the way your spouse receives it may not be the way you speak it. So if you take this test, you understand what they like, and usually there's a primary and a secondary
Yep.
love language.
Yep.
And sometimes even when you take a test, or that your love language may be one or two things, as things happen, sometimes they change.
Right.
And what was primary at one time may not be primary now.
Oops,
So it's
sorry.
definitely important to understand, how your spouse relates to what you have to say. So tonight we're going to talk about words of affirmation.
Yep.
Yeah. What is affirmation? It's the process of basically verbally stating something, giving emotional support or encouragement through words. Sometimes you hear positive speakers say, "I affirm that I'm doing this and doing that," but your spouse needs that. Excuse me, affirmation as well. Oh, excuse me.
You need some
Yeah,
water?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So, you definitely want to make sure that you're sharing those words of affirmation with the person. Now, of course, if your spouse is not a wordy person, words of affirmation are good, but they may not be what you need. It may not be what you have to have. You good? You may not be what you have to have in that moment. So, you want to make sure that you're sharing those words of affirmation. You want to make sure that you're giving them, but you also want to make sure that if that's not their primary love language, that you are sharing that love language. And hi, Lisa, I see you. I know that it would have been your anniversary, and we're continually praying for you. Definitely. It would have been 2 years for you, and definitely praying for you, and we know that God is going to carry you through. But again, you want to share your affirmation. So, like for you, when I tell you, certain things, like when I did that post or what, does that really make you feel any kind of way, or or am I just making up words? Am I just saying something?
No, it definitely does. It's part of, even though it may not be primary or it's a part of my love language. And a spouse, you want to make sure that they feel that way. And not an affirmation is not just saying it, and not really it's not why you say it, but it's also not how you say it, but it's why you say it.
Right.
And that's really important. I love you because Not just I love you. I love you is great. I need to hear that. I'm glad
Yeah.
that you do love me. But what's even more effective when you say I love you because, and that is very important and very cool. It makes me all warm and fuzzy inside.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you've shown me how and why you love me, or how and why you care.
Absolutely. I see some people are putting that what their love languages as primary is acts of service and then receiving gifts. So, knowing those things, but the thing that we get into, and I did not know this until much later in my relationship and in our marriage. And had I known this earlier on, I think that some of the challenges that we went through earlier on in our marriage, we would have gotten past, because like some stuff we just didn't even talk about. We didn't even address, we didn't even deal with. But the thing is I used to love you like I wanted to be loved. For example, coming in with the groceries. Am I going to let it go? Yes, I am. But coming in with groceries, and I know you do, and you absolutely do. I'm just throwing shade tonight, and I'm being silly, but you do, and I do appreciate that. You do a ton of things. You make sure my car, lately you've been amazing making sure that it's, buying my cars, but then making sure that they're full of gas and that they're taken care of, and that I appreciate. But I used to, though, love you in acts of service, and your love language was words of affirmation.
Right. And I didn't even know what love languages were.
Neither one of us did.
Right.
But then when we found out what they were, it really became like an aha moment, as Oprah would say, because it did turn the light on in a lot of things. And I do know that when I do encourage you, and when I do tell you that I appreciate what you do, that that I have grace in my heart for you for mistakes. I have those things. You respond better to me,
right,
as opposed to me just serving you, because that's my love language.
Right, definitely. And one thing that is also important when your spouse is a person that likes words of affirmation, one thing to also know is that words of insults tend to hurt more. Because they're sensitive to your words.
That's a good point.
So you have to understand how much it is when you're doing good, but also the way that you speak to them negatively has more of an impact than anything else. Example, I remember one time when we were younger and earlier in the marriage, I used to like to tease you on something, and one time you was like, that hurt my feelings. I was just joking, with you, but when you said no, but that came from you, the person that I love. So even though that's a joke or whatever, it was offensive. Yeah. And I had to learn that. I was like, well, I didn't understand it. It was just a joke. I didn't mean anything by it. But at that time, your affirmation and what I said and spoke to you meant a lot. And not even being as a joke, it couldn't even be that way because of our relationship and because of love. So that's important. You have to know that if your spouse is love language is words affirmation, not only can good words be positive, but bad words can hurt.
That's something that I just learned tonight. So that I never really thought of it that way, but that's pretty powerful. That's pretty weighty to know that you got to really watch the way that you hand out that the opposite of that love, or the way that you withhold it. So like if you don't serve me, then I feel unloved. I feel like you saying I don't care enough about you to do this. You know what I'm saying? But if I say something negative to you or show some kind of I guess disapproval, then that hits you deeper. That hit that like they said, it hit different when you do that in that manner. So I get that, and I really appreciate you bringing that out.
And one thing that you want to, when you're dealing with the person or your spouse that has words of affirmation, as a primary love language, you can't say, well, they should know how much I love them, so I don't have to say it. You can't. Nope. It's not just the words. Not for them. It's not just the words. It's the intention and the emotions behind the words.
I'm laughing at Lisa because she said, "Put the groceries right." Thank you, Lisa.
That's funny. I'm gonna do that right. But she also said something that we'll put up here that was very good to see, was that her husband always said, "I love you because." Yeah. And that that made it important, because it's not just I love you, you know that, but I love you because. I love you
Absolutely.
because your smile. I love you because you love me back. I love you because of all these reasons. And what that is, it gives intention to the emotion.
Absolutely. You're so smart.
Ah, you're so
You've
kind.
been so good with this studying
Yeah, man.
tonight.
Had we left the mic on a little longer, you would have heard what she was really saying about me.
Oh,
Not
I did
just
not. I did not.
no. So you don't have to be a street Romeo. You don't have to always just shout from the street. Oh, Juliet, Juliet. That's great. It's okay, but you have to practice just giving to your spouse when you're dealing with a person that likes words of affirmation. You have to be able to say, "I'm proud of you. I'm lucky to have you." You have to practice these things. It's not that they're needy, but that's the way that they receive love from you. And it's real important, as man or woman, when the person that you love speaks into your life. Like we said, we believe from a Christian's perspective that words have power,
Yeah.
and that you can affirm certain things.
Yeah.
So if you're telling your spouse they're blessed, they're highly favored, that they are wonderful, even in a moment when they're not those things, you're speaking those things into their life.
Yep.
And that's why negative effects can also happen. It could be towards your child if you call them out of names, or you call your mom something that's crazy, or your parent or your brother or sister if you call them stupid, dumb, or you're never going to be that. Those affirmations as a Christian has power.
Absolutely.
And you can speak those negative words over their life, and you don't want that.
No, you don't, because those words stick. They are spirit and they have life. The Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. So you, just as much as you can speak life over a thing, you can speak death over it. So especially as a Christian, you need to watch what you say, and watch your words, what you bring to yourself and what you bring to your spouse, what you bring to your children. All of us have memories of being a kid that somebody said something to us when we was a kid that was hurtful, that still bother us today. And you doing better in life than that person who said it, but it still bothers you, because words are deep. They
That's
pierce,
right. That's right.
So you
That's
got to really
right.
be careful. But they also build, because I know, like, when you say things to me like, you're doing a great job, honey, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm working so hard, I'm doing it, but you like, but I really appreciate your contribution to this family. You are doing such a great job. That makes me feel good, even though I'm not a words of affirmation person.
Right.
That makes me feel like, okay, I can hit this hard. I can do this. I can make it happen.
Right.
So it definitely encourages me and builds me up and gives me the strength to do more.
That's right. And if you ever take Gary Chapman's test, you're going to find out most of the time couples don't always share the same love languages as primary and secondary.
True.
So you have to, invest some time to understand, and especially, like you said before, the way that you receive love is usually the way that you give love.
Yeah.
But it's may not way that your spouse wants it, or wants to receive it.
Yeah.
Because what you think and feel and what you say to your spouse is very important.
Yes.
So I know you love me, but why? Why do you love me? Especially when you're dealing with somebody who needs words of affirmation.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes when you're dealing with that, a good thing is to text your spouse, call your spouse, send a love letter, a note to let them know how much. Go ahead.
I found a love letter, a love note from you yesterday, because I'm switching over our car, from 2011. You put it in my lingerie drawer. I just found it though.
Yeah.
From 2011, you put a date on it. It was in May in 2011. So I just found that like 2 days ago.
Yeah. So, and how did that make you feel?
That was great. And you were out of town, so that was like a kiss from wherever you were in Milan, or wherever you were in London, where you were. So that was really sweet. I meant to tell you that.
Thank you. There's another comment. Kenyatta says the words of affirmations breathe life into your spouse.
Absolutely they do. Just like that letter, I was cleaning up, which is a bust, and I was trying to get rid of clothes and switch over stuff and doing different things in my closet, but that letter, it just blessed my heart, and it made me think fondly, and those words will make you think fondly. But I'm just like, now I'm sticking to, and I'm almost tripping out on the fact that it's as heavy the negative that you say is as
Isn't it?
heavy
Yeah.
as the positive is light, and as it is wonderful. So
Because it's as much as the content of not just what you say, but it's also how you say it.
Ooh.
That's super important because for words of affirmation to have any impact, it is necessary to put time, thought, and love into them.
Yeah.
So for words of affirmation, you have to, not just, it's not what you say, not I love you, but how you say I love you because
Yeah.
I love you, all that, all these things. So here's some examples. We're just gonna give you a couple. Hey, thank you guys. Continue to like, share. We're having a like chat tonight. Definitely appreciate you guys commenting. We're gonna try to read all of them and go through some of them. And once again, like and share this broadcast. So first thing about for somebody that needs words of affirmation, one thing that they probably you should use is to be humble. Use humility when speaking words of affirmation, because it's when you're humble or when you use humility, it's just like a way to lay down your imperfections in front of your spouse, which is transparency. So, because when you can be humble, that means you can be transparent, you can give and receive forgiveness and understanding. So, I think humility is a good place to start with words of affirmation. So, sometimes when you have to, words of I regret or I'm sorry for
right.
this, that's an example of humility.
Yeah.
Next time I'll try to, so next time I'll try to, even though I'm doing everything to set up for this, I'll try to help you get the groceries in.
What? Shade.
Well, no, that's what I
The
meant.
shade.
I'm being humble. I mean, humility, But, or I could have done this better today to help you because, that. So, those are all examples of humility.
Yep.
Right.
And absolutely, because humility is putting the other person first. It's having the spirit of preferability. It's humility. A lot of times you could be in the right. You could just be like, the other person is dead wrong. But humility gives grace in that place. It gives grace, and it acknowledges wherever you were wrong, or whatever you, like you said, whatever you could have done better, or just allowing that person to experience what it is that they're experiencing, whatever emotions they're experiencing, allowing it. Now, not being an enabler or letting somebody whine and wallow in something. That's completely different. But sometimes, the place that your spouse should feel the most heard is with you.
Right.
They should not feel the most heard by their neighbor, the most heard by their daughter or their son or their mother, their parent, because that's a big one. We get a lot of DMs about that, but they should feel the most heard by you. Because if they feel the most heard by you and you are their confidant, I don't care what is going on in their world, you are the person they're going to come to.
That's good. Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, you're going to be the first person that they want to celebrate with, and you're going to be the first person that they want to weep with.
Yeah, that's good. And, the funny thing about words of affirmation, we always hear the what do you call it? The saying, actions speak louder than words. But when you're dealing with a person that has affirmation as their love language, words speak more than actions.
That's true.
It's what you say to them can sometimes be more important
what you do
than what you do.
Yeah.
So this is the time where words speak more than actions. So if a lot of times people even have trouble in relationships because they don't know that they need words of affirmation as their primary love language,
right?
Or their spouse doesn't know to give that to them,
right? So
hopefully these things are helping you to be able to communicate with the person that's doing that.
Yeah.
So the second part of or number two example of words of affirmation would be gratitude and appreciation. You turn your page, honey. So
I'm sorry.
See where we're at. And because what gratitude and appreciation does is that it gives extra meaning and purpose to our daily actions.
Okay.
Because just think about in this pandemic and all this. there's so much going on. You got family, you got all these things going on. You got the daily struggles of life, whether you're in or out the home. Whether it's stressful, not stressful, dealing with all the things that go on. And so when you are able to give great gratitude affirmation, just gives more purpose to your day. But it's something that is specific. I appreciate you because, not just I appreciate you. I appreciate you because today you went out and sold some homes. You went out and did some stuff, even though you were tired, and you cooked breakfast and you did all this stuff while I went out and rode my bike on my day off. But no. But I appreciate you because you did that, because you are consistent in your love. I couldn't blank today if it weren't for you. I couldn't have had a great day if it wasn't for you.
I could not have done this today if it were not for you, because I don't know how to turn none of this on. You studied all of this and laid this all out tonight and wrote it out so that I could have my notes and you have your notes. So I am sincerely saying that I couldn't have done this tonight without you.
Oh, thank you. And
that's the truth.
You see, and what that does is that you're being specific, but it gives extra meaning to purpose.
Yeah.
So when you have a spouse that needs words of affirmation, you can't think of it as them being needy. You have to think of that you need to give some purpose and life to the words that you speak.
Absolutely.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Number 3, if you want to talk about that.
Number 3 is encouragement. Bad days, long days need encouragement. It can change your attitude for the rest of the day. And that is definitely true. If your spouse is having a bad day or they're having a bad season in their life, that they're having some struggles, that is the time to tread lightly. That is the time to tread delicately. My husband, when you come home, one thing he says is like, I don't like to go a whole bunch of places. When I get off an airplane, I want to go home. And I made it a point, like when our children were growing up, even though I had to deal with everything when he was gone. I had to deal with everything with the kids. I had to deal with the house. I had to deal with the flat tire, the dog lost his bone, just everything. I had to deal with it. I made it my point not to, as soon as he got in the car, unload all of my day. Even though I wanted to get in the car and just cry in his arms, like soon as he got in, and just like ball up and just be like, this happened in the world. I made it my point not to pour that on him out of compassion for he's been traveling, he's been earning, for our family, doing, everything that he had to do out there. So I tried to give grace for that for him. And then, so that if he was having a bad day, that I wasn't pouring extra on him, extra stuff and extra drama on him. So if your spouse is having a bad day, or like I said, or a bad season, like they're having a tough time at work, or tough time with their family, or their baby mama, or, whatever it is, show grace. You know what I'm saying? Show grace during that time. Don't complain, and pour all, just dump everything on your spouse and be negative to your spouse.
Right. There's a time for that. Because your love language could be the part that they need, being able to understand and all that. But, an example of I guess would be encouragement is like, that I'm impressed that you did this, or I believe in you because of that. Those are words of encouragement. And like that, I appreciate in those times because, of the situation. My day could have been real full. Your day was real full. And then, for me, I just needed to breathe for a moment. Yeah. And then when I walked in the house, I was ready to take on the qualms of the,
what was necessary.
What was necessary.
Yeah.
But actually, my rest and peace was just enjoying the car ride home with you. After that. And so you just have to understand what your spouse needs.
Absolutely.
And meeting their needs is really important. And that's part of even the fences when we talk about is keeping things in your marriage, keeping the good things in, the bad things out.
Absolutely. And then you had some notes here saying that, I believe in you because, or it impressed me when you did whatever. And you fill in the blanks. it's okay to say those, and you can say these words of affirmation to anybody. But the Bible is full of words of affirmation. You know, it says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me."
Good.
You know what I'm saying? That's an affirmation. The Bible is full of it. You know, the book of Psalms is full of affirmations. A righteous man, you know, and even a just man falls a few times, but he gets back up. You know what I'm saying? All of these things. Affirmations are found. So if you're speaking these words and you're speaking life and you're speaking what you want to see, our bishop says something. He says, say it like you want. Say it like you. What is he saying? Say it like you see it till you see it like you said it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Say it till you see it. I don't know. Say it like you want to see it until you see it like you said it.
Right.
So you have to keep speaking it. You know, I have to say over and over again. You speak. You know, I speak to my children all the time, you know, what I expect of them. And I'm like, you're young kings. I got all boys. I don't got no girls. I don't have no princesses. I got all kings. And I say, listen, you are kings. You know, kings don't act like this, or kings don't do this. When have you, show me a king that did this, a successful king, a king that had honor. Show me one who did this. Now, if you show me one who did this type of behavior, that king failed. What was the end of that king?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely. That king was not, you know, whatever. So I speak to my husband, who is a king. And as a matter of fact, his name means peaceful king. And I speak to my children like they're kings. And, you know, as you make those affirmations, when you speak those things, their behavior begins to line up with what you speak. But if you say you ain't no good, you don't know nothing, you ain't gonna never get math, you dumb, don't do your homework, you know, or you know, and you don't never do nothing around this house, you don't make it it's fake it till you make it. That's that too, Lou. But you know, you can, you know, saying all of these things, you know. You gotta say what you know. You can't be like, you're a drunken revelizer. You are, you know, you.
Even though they may be, you know.
Even though they may be, that might be the reality of it.
Right.
But truth speaks. What God didn't. He doesn't speak to us as we are. He when he sees us, he sees the righteousness of God because he looks at us through Christ. Yeah. So he sees us as wonderful, as perfect.
That's powerful.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to have that same type of grace.
You want to hit that, or
what's that?
It's a little off topic, but do you want to hit that comment right?
Do some ladies think they have to do everything? Most ladies feel like they have to do everything. Part of it is our nature. Part of it, and this is a little like off topic, but I'm answering questions. It's okay. Part of it's our nature. We are nurturers. We are used to taking care of ourselves a lot of times. Women mature faster than men, so we're a lot of times used to doing everything.
Right. Or it could be, you know, even from a male perspective, you know, if you're in the relationship, especially in marriage, have you given her any reason to doubt, any reason to not trust, any reason to feel unprotected? Our role as men is to provide protection, to be that provider, you know, but it's not just going out and bringing home a paycheck. It's emotional protection. You know, if the lady feels like she has to do everything because she has no covering, then sometimes if you are married, you might want to take a step back and say, am I doing everything to make my wife feel comfortable, to feel protected? Because if she feels that way, then she can build her nest and take care of the things, and you guys can work together. But if she doesn't feel protected, if she feels uncomfortable, then she's gonna be at your head. She's gonna be at your neck,
or she gonna feel like you gonna flake out on her. She's gonna also make sure that she be like, okay, now if you gonna flake out, I got my stuff together. I'm doing everything.
I got plan B.
I got plan B if you're not gonna do, you know what I'm saying? But it the way that you alleviate that is the key thing is building that trust, trusting, you know, and letting her know that you can handle those things, and those things you find those things a lot of times early on in marriage, but sometimes people that are married for a long time, it took some time even in our relationship, certain things for you to build where I could trust, you know, and relax in certain things because I knew that you had us.
Definitely. You know, I like what Richard Calloway said. He said, you know, words of affirmation are planting seeds of greatness to come. Is words of faith.
Absolutely.
That's really profound.
Powerful, yeah.
Happy 10-year anniversary. No,
that's
not 10 years. I mean, I'm thinking.
years.
You know, I was thinking of John and Trevon Clifton. I was talking to them today. They have 10 years coming up.
Okay.
So yeah, so sorry about that, but 23 years.
Yeah, they got married the same year we got married.
23 years for
Yeah.
Richard and Twy Calloway.
Yeah.
But that is important. Is that a lot of times you have to plant those seeds.
Yes.
And then with the words of affirmation, the way how you say it is watering those seeds.
Yeah.
You are great because you're going to do this because I love you because you're a great mom, you're a great dad, you're great. All those things is very, very, very important.
Yep.
So, hey, we appreciate you guys commenting and chatting with us today. Hopefully you're enjoying the new format and all that. We're having fun. Continue to like and share. But so we talked about words of affirmation, how you can use them in humility. You can use them in gratitude and appreciation. You can use them in encouragement. Did we hit empathy? I think number 4. We only got
number
5.
4. Yeah, number 4 is empathy.
Empathy.
Yeah.
So what is empathy? It's the way that you respond to your spouse to know that they are understood. It's comforting to know that they understand my sacrifices. It's comforting to know that you understand that you're helping me carry the weight. One difficult thing for me, if you don't mind me sharing just a little bit, when we deal with empathy was that, when you deal with like the loss of a loved one, loss of a parent. Both of us have lost parents, have lost people that are close to us. And sometimes when you deal with empathy, men always try to fix stuff sometimes. But sometimes it's just being able to say something like, I can see how you feel because, or I understand, or I'm here for you.
Yeah.
Or I can't imagine how hard this is, but
I'm here.
I'm here. And that's empathy, being able to say those things and to, know that that's your spouse, because sometimes there are no words for certain things.
And yeah, absolutely. And all you can do is be there or be like, I you are handling this, so great. And like, there will be times, even when my mom passed, you would be like just there. And that was a very difficult time for me. And still, I have some difficult times. 20 years ago, my mother passed, but I'm still, almost 20 years. And I'm still, especially like during the month of September, which is the month that she passed, I just get, sometimes I don't even know that I'm being weird. I don't even know that I'm being weird. But my husband, I noticed one time a few years ago that he has it in his calendar so that he does not forget. So if I'm being weird or if I'm not being weird, that he's showing me extra love during that time, just so that, I'm being supported. And that's been, like I said, I just found out that he was doing that a few years ago, and it's been almost 20 years that my mom's been gone. So that I appreciate. And that is ongoing empathy because his mother is still here. And mine has gone on to be with the Lord. But, that helps me to know and to feel loved.
Right, definitely. So, and what we're talking about tonight is words of affirmation and how to give that love language to your partner, to your spouse. So the final thing that can help are examples of words of affirmation. We talked about using humility. We talked about gratitude and appreciation. We talked about encouragement. We just hit empathy. The final one is?
It is respect and admiration.
Respect and admiration. So you want to hit that one?
You can't help but to feel love when your spouse builds you up, when they respect you and they give you admiration. And I want to throw another part in there, adoration. When a woman feels adored, it's just an empowerment that you give her. That's an empowerment that her man gives her when she feels adored. And I think there's an empowerment that a woman gives a man when he feels admired and respected.
That's right. Prince had it right. Until the end of time, I truly adore you.
Right.
Because it's the way that you show it's also a love or respect when you give them that adoration or admiration.
Yeah.
It's something that is definitely needed because you're sincere when you admire or when you adore and when you do that. And and that's a great job. You did a great job.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful you're in my life because those are words of adoration. And a lot of times you're gonna disagree. You're gonna have every day your spouse and you are not going to have the same eye. You're not gonna, you know what I'm saying. You're not gonna always agree. You're gonna disagree. You're gonna have differences and disagreements. But when you focus on the words, especially admiration, it's just a specific way of, because you have to think to say something of adoration.
Yeah.
It's not just something, oh, I love you, that's cool. It's not something that rolls off. You have to think why that person makes me feel that way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, absolutely. And, it's okay to have differences, like you said, and disagreements. As acts of love, words of affirmation should be focused on the other person and not yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say I'm great. Like, I love you because I'm great. No,
Right,
I don't know.
right.
I don't know.
I'm the best thing that happened to you.
I'm the best thing that ever happened to you.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I need to tell you that,
Right.
Or
Right.
if I'm receiving that, it's just something that needs to be. So, that's pretty much it. We talked about, and if you go back if you follow us on Instagram, we talked about 20 things to say to your husband.
Yeah.
To show them how much you appreciate them. And tomorrow, we'll probably post 20 things that you can say to your wife that will help her know that she is loved and she's appreciated. So even if your spouse's love language, primary or even secondary love language, is not words of affirmation, it's still a love language that you can practice doing and giving to your spouse every day.
Absolutely.
You should be able to give them some types of humility, some types of gratitude, some type of encouragement, some type of empathy, or some type of respect and adoration.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Talk nice. Be nice. Be kind. Build up. Encourage. Let your spouse know that they're great, and they're great in your eyes. That they're the greatest in your eyes, and that you have grace for mistakes. You have grace for anything that they are wrong, and you're there to support them when they're down, because that's why you're given to one another. The Bible says 2 are better than 1. If one has to eat, like, how can one be warm alone? You can't be warm by yourself.
That's right.
You can get warm when you got somebody
That's
next
right.
to you. But appreciate the warmth and appreciate that love. Continue to build up and stay focused. Sometimes people make it hard, though, to give those affirmations. Sometimes your spouse may make it hard and you want to punch them in the eye. Don't punch them in the eye. Don't punch her in the eye. Have grace. Pour out your heart to God. You got to get it out, because if you don't get it out, you're going to pop off. So being fake and not saying stuff and just holding it in, that's not good either. But pour out your heart to God. You can tell God how you feel about certain things. And then at the appropriate time, you can tell your spouse how you feel about things. But the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're continuing to encourage and to admonish and to lift up and to build up.
Definitely. So we appreciate you guys tuning in today.
Yeah.
As always, please like and share this message with somebody. We appreciate your support. We see all the comments. Thanks so much. And we're definitely going to be doing some more giveaways coming up soon in the month of October. But always, follow us on Instagram. That's where we do a lot of our love in 60 seconds, when we just give some encouraging words in 60 seconds and some posts. And then also share this and follow us on Facebook. We're here every Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Continue to send us your DMs and your messages on what you would like for us to talk about. We are praying for each and every one of you in all types of your relationships, from mother and father, marriage, all those things. We are praying for you. God wants you to have the best life and the best relationships that you can have. Yeah. And we believe that having that also includes having him first.
Yeah.
So this is Frederick and Jean Watts, and this is Love in 60 Seconds. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Well, guys, we have to wrap it up this evening. We really hope that you've enjoyed our conversation.
Yes, this conversation has been amazing, and we want you to tune in again next time so that we can discuss more of these amazing topics and these topics of interest. Then don't forget to DM us, contact us, reach out to us, and we will definitely respond back.
This has been Love in 60 Seconds. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, good night, everybody.
60